Now to part two of our interview with former U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton, where he tells our Catherine Hadro about the next steps in the war in Ukraine and what it was like working for former President Donald Trump.
You mentioned that the war between Russia and Ukraine is a top agenda item for NATO. How do you see the war between Russia and Ukraine ending?
Well, I'm worried at the moment that it's a stalemate and that whether it's Hungary's Viktor Orban or people in this country who are proposing that we have a ceasefire and then move into negotiations, a ceasefire at this point would simply be a new de facto boundary between Russia and Ukraine. It would be entirely in Russia's advantage. I'm sorry we're gridlocked after 2.5 years, frankly, of not being as effective as we could be in supporting Ukraine. So it's a very delicate moment for the alliance, but obviously even more for Ukraine.
It is very delicate. Do you believe NATO should expand to include Ukraine?
Well, I think there's a time for it. NATO has never taken in a member that's actually involved in a hot war or had foreign troops garrisoned on its territory, because that would, by definition, bring NATO itself into the conflict. Frankly, we should have admitted Ukraine and Georgia back in April of 2008 when President George W. Bush proposed it. Unfortunately, the French and the Germans objected. I think if we had acted back then, there never would have been a 2014 invasion by Russia, let alone another Russian invasion in 2022.
You were former President Trump's national security advisor, but you have written that Donald Trump is unfit to be president again. Why is that, and what worries you the most if he is in fact reelected?
Well, I don't think he understands what's at stake in international affairs. I don't think he appreciates the gravity of the responsibilities that he has as president. He sees foreign affairs as being equal to the personal relationships of heads of government, which certainly is not. And so I think generally his lack of understanding of the wider world, his disinterest in it, his isolationist tendencies, I think would all work against the United States and our ability to protect our interest in a very complex and dangerous world.
If Trump is reelected, what would happen to NATO?
Well, I was with him in 2018 at the NATO summit in Brussels when he came within an inch of withdrawing from NATO. I think it's entirely possible he would do it again or put NATO in such jeopardy that effectively it would be the same as withdrawing. I think it's very dangerous for Ukraine. I think it's a signal to governments like Putin's in Russia or Xi Jinping in China that they are presented with new opportunities that ultimately are very dangerous for the United States.
Ambassador John Bolton, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me.